Hey everybody, Loren here, asking the tough questions for you today. First one that I'm going to ask is, why are colleges open right now during the midst of a global pandemic? Particularly colleges in the United States, where the pandemic has almost claimed 200,000 lives at the making of this video. Now you may say to yourself, Loren, it's the money, Lebowski. And yeah, you're correct. However, it goes deeper beyond just the money that a college makes. And I'm choosing this video to delve into how messed up and screwed colleges are by looking into my alma mater. Go Dogs! The University of Georgia has four major budgetary areas, including about 30% of the budget that comes from the state and appropriations from the state, or about $500 million. Internal revenues of the university, which include tuition, includes initial fees, and things of that nature, which make up about 37% or $640 million. Sponsored operations, which are private things such as private donations, that includes private capital, private grants for educational purposes or for research purposes, which make up about 18% or $350 million. Auxiliary services, which are everything from parking, dining passes, sales from the bookstore, and use of the university golf courses, are about 14% or $228 million. And then activity fees is a very small percentage, which is about 1% or $16 million. That makes it so that the University of Georgia spends about $1.7 billion in any academic year. Here's a more visual way to look at it when it comes to the four major categories, just showing the breakdown of each of the major area issues. So, how exactly is COVID going to affect the budgetary process for University of Georgia? So what we know so far is in 2021, due to a reduction in revenue because of COVID-related things, the state of Georgia passed a budget and was signed into law by Brian Kemp in June of 2020 that created about a 10% reduction in grants and state-related things to the University of Georgia. So right off the bat, we can assume that the $500 million figure in the first 2019 budget would go down to about $450 million. Internal revenue is kind of a harder nut to crack. With COVID restrictions, we have things that make it so that it would be significantly harder to social distance when you're on campus, so classroom sizes may have to be smaller and enrollment has to be smaller, which decreases revenue by default. However, what we've learned, especially from the last recession, when a lot of folks went back to school to try and learn a trade or try and learn a new major that could help them advance career-wise, a lot of people do go back to school and kind of use that as like a cushion during recessionary or depressionary times to make a little bit of leeway in trying to find a job. However, I am just going to predict in a very vague way that the amount of money from internal revenue is going to go down from the $640 million figure. I don't think this is a necessarily controversial prediction either, is that sponsored operations are also going to be going down budgetary wise, mainly due to the fact that during a recession, even the wealthiest among us don't necessarily have a ton of money to invest in things like research grants or things related to events. I would also assume that the same applies for auxiliary services. Dining halls and things of that nature would probably have to, at the very least, comply with social distancing policies put in place by the University System of Georgia, and it would be incredibly tough for people to find money in their pockets, even students, during a recessionary period to pay for things like going to the university golf courses or going through the bookstore to buy books. So, in a lot of ways, the University of Georgia is deciding to stay open to blunt the impact that fiscal year 2021 will have on them budgetarily versus ensure the health of various students that go to the university, various teachers that teach at the university, various staff members, and the several thousands of people in the city of Athens that would be at risk because of this decision. And most colleges throughout the United States have a very similar funding model with a bit of money from the state, a bit of money from students, and a bit of money from private investors and things that happen external to the university. So that's why they're opening up and also experiencing outbreaks. So if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to try and make a little bit more content like this, but we'll see how things hold up. I'm in the midst of a COVID quarantine myself right now, so I'm not completely sure how long that's going to last. Enjoy.